Are just tearing up my garden. I don't know what in the world we're going to do. The Woman Civic Club has been fighting this since 1910. When will it stop?
I know, it's been a long time coming, and I'm just tired of old Sam's cows coming and running through my clothesline, tearing it down. I'm tired of tearing that water.
Well, I know what you're...
I have to wash my clothes again.
I tell you that trip down to Kirbyville, the mud holes, you got to look out for them. But I tell you, that new state highway, that gravel highway, heck, I did 45 miles an hour all the way.
Yeah, if you don't quit driving as fast, you're going to kill yourself. And I suppose you stopped at Sam Campbell and Ray Ball and purchased gas at 11 cents a gallon.
Yeah, pretty good deal I got there on that, but that's still too high price for me.
Jasper, 1926, as it appears in this photograph of the Jasper County Fair Parade in October of that year. In 1926, the community of Jasper was the largest unincorporated town in Texas. Water came from surface wells and was drawn with buckets or brought up from Sandy Creek. Outdoor toilets served as the sewer system. Garbage was burned in the backyards or dumped along a county road. The family wash was done in big black pots with numerous tubs. Houses were unnumbered, streets were of sand or clay. There was no stock law, so cows and pigs ran at large through the town. There was no police force, so the sheriff's office or private citizens handled disputes. The fire department consisted of anyone who would respond to the cry of fire and who formed a bucket brigade. The county purchased some buckets, ladders, and picks and axes, which were stored in the county jail.
In 1901, these houses of shame had been in business selling liquor to our young boys and girls. Now that's against the law.
You're right. Realizing that without an incorporated town, Jasper could never achieve a more modern living standard, several public-spirited, civic-minded men campaigned for Jasper's incorporation. It took 3 close elections within a 12-month period to get it passed. But on October the 26th, 1926, an election was held, and when the ballots were counted at 7 p.m. that night, there were 226 votes for, 177 against. Thus, Jasper became a town/village, which was the designation given to towns with a population of at least 600. After the town was incorporated, another election was needed to elect city officials. On Monday, December 16th, 1926, 173 ballots were cast, and Augustus Lee Black was elected as the first mayor. Also elected were Garland Smith, O.M. Stone, H.F. Lanier, J.M. Morton, C.C. Brown, and R.J. Damerel. According to the minutes of the City Council, Mayor Black called the first meeting of the council to order on December the 18th, 1926, and each member took the oath of office.
I do. Well, the first Jasper City Council met on New Year's Day, 1927, and began the task of drawing up ordinance. Fellas, I don't know about you, but I've been looking around here. We got people breaking the laws. We got sewer coming in ditches. We got all kinds of problems here. We're going to have to draw up some ordinances and some rules and see what we're going to do if we're ever going to have any law and order around this town.
Yeah. Here.
We've got animals running loose in the streets, and it's just awful. And another thing we have a problem with is people are cutting other people's fences, and this is just terrible.
As these ordinances were enforced, naturally a few of the citizens of the town of Jasper were more than a little riled that their freedoms were being taken away, and that there were just too many rules and regulations. Indeed, on the 11th of January, The 18th of January and the 2nd of February that year, Mayor Black and the council worked diligently and met frequently to draw up necessary ordinances, implement a tax plan, and compile a tax roll, establish boundary lines within the town, sponsor bond issues to pay for water, sewer, and pavement projects, and contend with many other issues pertinent to a newly formed town government.
After the boundary lines were established, a census was taken and the population increase placed Jasper in the town-city bracket, resulting in a better financial structure. On May 16, 1927, the citizens of Jasper voted by a narrow margin to change the city charter to the status of town and city.
Under Mayor Black's leadership, the water and sewer systems were put in place, but not without problems. Again, an occasional property owner was unhappy with the location or the size of the water line and proceeded to cut the line. However, the benefits of these new city improvements far outweighed any complaints.
The water and sewer project were simple compared to the pavement project. By 1931, the sewer and water project were basically complete, and the council began to make plans for the pavement project. Now, the first phase of the project was to have a pavement around the courthouse square and a 20-foot slab extending all the way to the depot. In addition, Houston, Maine, Lamar, Milan, Bowie, and Austin and Zavala streets were included in this phase one. Now, the city ordinance was passed that the owners of the property abutting the named streets would pay the entire cost of the curb and the gutters, and in front of their respective properties, of course, and 2/3 of the entire remaining cost of street improvements in front of the abutting property.
But you fellas didn't check with me. I ain't got enough money for that curb and that street pavement.
Brown and Root got the contract and wanted to use Duracup, a type of pavement which the citizens had investigated and found not to be acceptable. Since the citizens had to pay for pavement in front of their houses, they wanted 6 inches of reinforced concrete.
Now, understandably, the town was deeply divided, and on April 7, 1931, A.L. Black, Your Honor, was again elected mayor, along with 2 new aldermen, A.A. Few and M.P. Hancock. Litigation, politics, dissension continued until the next city council meeting. April 5, 1932, when J.L. Lanier, L.J. Fortberry, and L.M. Swearingen were elected. This election apparently appeased the citizenry, and finally a contract was awarded to Earl Yates and Son of Buffalo, Texas, for the pavement project. Now, in the morning, this contractor planned to set these curbs and gutters. He sent a driver to the depot to get supplies.
Wait a minute, wait a minute. You saying these people came from out of town? What's wrong? There's citizens here in this town. Mayor Black, we got people of our own that could do that. What? I don't understand.
All I can tell you is there were a group of 30 or more angry, unemployed men, some of them armed, demanded that the driver leave town. The crowd was irate because the contractor had promised to use local labor on the project and only brought 2 men with him, and they were experienced concrete workers, though. The local sheriff wanted no part in dealing with the mob, so Mayor Black sent for ex-sheriff Beaver Bishop, whose record in law enforcement was well known. Bishop was sworn in as city marshal, and Mayor Black offered him his Colt 45, which he kept in his desk drawer. Bishop declined this, however, confronted the mob, and made them place their weapons on the ground. His last words to them were, "You damn alley rats, scatter and scatter fast. Don't let me see you anymore." So on May 1st, 1933, Mayor Black and the council ordered the secretary to pay Earl Yates and Son for having completed the city's first paving project.
There was another incident in 1930 where Mayor Black got the attention of an adversary. The Depression was having its effect on the city budget, and sometimes they had difficulty paying their debts in a timely manner. The city formed the Jasper Volunteer Fire Department and named Wesley Neal as their first fire chief. They purchased a fire truck from Seagraves and Company. But they had asked for an extension on the payments for about 1 year. Seagraves was not sympathetic, and they sent 2 agents from the bank to repossess old number 1.
We represent the Bank of Beaumont, and we have a demand letter from Mayor A.L. Black.
Well, basically this letter says that we've asked you for an extension on the fire truck loan, which we purchased from Seagraves. And this letter here's from you guys say that you just can't do it. So bottom line, what y'all just think you're gonna do is leave this town without a fire truck. Now both of you guys, both of you, I've talked to y'all and I've telegraphed you, I've wired you back and forth about this until I'm sick of it. And I'm gonna just tell you one thing, one way or the other. The fire truck ain't going nowhere. By the way, the fire truck's still here.
A.L. Black served Jasper as mayor during 3 terms, the first from 1927 to 1929. He was elected and sworn in again on April the 13th, 1931. The mayor's office was rented from J.M. Orton during the 2nd term, although at least one public hearing was held in the district courtroom. In April of 1933, another election was held. Of the 135 total votes cast, Mayor Black received 133. His 3rd term ended in 1935. According to his grandson, G.A. Black, Augustus Lee Black came to Texas from Georgia at an early age, and before coming to Jasper, had managed a lumber company in Oakhurst, Texas.
He established the Palmetto Lumber Company across from his family's residence in the area now occupied by the Aubrey E. Cole Law Enforcement Center on East Milam Street. He owned the whole block at one time. There was a lawsuit against the company for $999,999. You see, in those days, it was not legal to sue for $1 million. The Black Lumber Company was then formed and was a successful business which was later managed by his son, Boyd. The company later sold to Aden and Sloper.
Mayor A.L. Gus Black, a lumberman from Georgia, possessed great business acumen and managerial skills. Always dressed in a suit, sporting a vest, a gold watch chain, wearing black rimmed glasses and a diamond ring, he sat an imposing figure. He was a man who knew his way around. He could be gentle or tough as a boot, and whether he was dealing with a rough and tough lumberjack or a suave city banker, he knew how to get his way.
Also known as a predominant business and civic leader, A.L. Black had served, in addition to being mayor, on the Jasper Independent School District Board, as the director of the First State Bank, the Jasper County Fair Association, the Jasper Wholesale Grocery Association, and was a charter member of the Jasper Chamber of Commerce. He was a member of the Methodist Church and the Jasper Masonic Lodge.
A.L. Black was born October 22nd, 1870 and died August 27th, 1950. He was survived by his wife, Ermine, sons Gwen, Boyd, Joe, and Fred, as well as 2 daughters, Mrs. Fred Hudson's and Mrs. Billy Byers, also brothers, sisters, and grandchildren.
The proof of Mayor Black's service to the citizens of Jasper is recorded history. His leadership during those first few years of establishing our city government were crucial in the very existence of what became the vital and productive jewel of the forest, the city of Jasper. Today we honor the memory of Mayor A.L. Black and thank him for his contributions.
The family of A.L. Black includes grandson G.A. and great-grandsons Mark, Kevin, Brian, and Clint Black, as well as great-grandsons Marshall and Colton. Kevin, Brian, and Clint are successful musicians. Kevin and his son Colton will perform at the Lions Rodeo Arena Saturday, October the 20th at 7 p.m. Memories and Music is a fundraising event for the Jasper County Historical Museum. Sponsorships are available through the museum, and general admission tickets may be purchased at the gate or through PayPal. We'd like to give our thanks to our actors tonight: Jeff Weaver, Charles Norwood, Chris Lanier, Jimmy Powers, Mike Loud, Ed Shirley, John Bryan, Allie Nunley, Lowell Nunley, Gene Cannon, Willie Mae McFarland, and Keith Hildebrand. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
all from our bankers. You did a really good job with prices.
Can we get a picture
Yeah.
before y'all do that?
Come on, banker. Get in there. Then everybody else. 1, 2, 3. Get up there. Y'all stay still. Everybody sit in. Come on, y'all get in. Get in, banker. Everybody squeeze in together. Let me get this.
John?
Oh, can you get on the end because you're so tall?
That's what I'm saying. Cast out to the end as always.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 2.
You there, bud?
When is it?
Good.
When do I get to see the movie of my starring part?